Hey guys, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. Websites are embedded with our everyday lives. We use them for everything. We buy things on the internet, we post things on the internet. But to develop that, we need web development. So guys, in this session we'll be looking into the tools which are required for web development. So as I told you, there are some top tools which we'll be discussing. So in this session we'll be discussing the top 7 tools which are really helpful for web developers. Also guys, before moving on with this session, please subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our upcoming videos. Now let us start off with this session. Okay, now let's see our first tool, which is a text editor or an IDE. And it is a very well-known tool which is called Visual Studio Code. So Visual Studio Code or VS Code is one of the most popular and one of the best tools for web development. It is mostly said as one of the best IDEs for web development. So there are a lot of reasons why it is the best. First reason is that it is available for all the major operating systems like Windows, Mac and Linux. Also, it has a wide set of extensions. For example, it already has an inbuilt extension for Node.js as well as it has extensions for other languages like C#, for PHP or for Java. Okay, now let's see the top features which VS Code provides. To start off, VS Code has inbuilt IntelliSense. That is basically when you type in a keyword, it automatically completes it and also highlights the keywords and the other variable and data types. And then comes a debugger. So it has an inbuilt debugger which you can connect with your running application or your created application, and you can set up breakpoints to test the application and then debug it and then correct it. Once that is done, it has another feature. Basically, I already addressed it, extensions. It has a complete marketplace full of various extensions which you can install in your VS Code. And finally, it has inbuilt Git connection. That is, if you're using GitHub already, or if you're using any other Git client, you can directly connect it with VS Code and you're good to go. You can commit, you can stage, and you can also push your files directly from VS Code itself to your repository, which is located in a remote place. So these are the features of VS Code, and as I told, this is one of the best and one of the most used IDEs for web development. And also there are some similar tools for this. There is Atom, there is Sublime Text, and there is Notepad++. You can do more research on those tools. Now let us move on to the next tool. The second tool we are going to look into is React, which is a JavaScript framework. So first of all, it is gaining popularity in the year 2020 in the front-end development world. It was created by Facebook, and once it was created, it gained popularity in a short period of time. One of the reasons it got popular is React Native, which is a mobile application platform. So what it does is it combines the capabilities of React as native computing capabilities. So basically you can create an application for Android, iOS and web using React Native. So now the main reason why it got popular is the virtual DOM. So it basically acts like one-way binding. So virtual DOM, or you might have heard of data object model, so it exactly acts like that. So what exactly happens here is, let's say you have hosted a website online using React. So now you are trying to make some changes in the website. So you have made some modifications. So once you have made some modifications, the entire website will re-render and you'll get a new version of the website and the older version of the website. So now both of these versions are compared, and only the modifications which have been made are changed in the website itself, which reduces the time, because sometimes using other JavaScript frameworks, the entire website will render. If it does that, there will be a lot of time wasted and a lot of memory wasted, and React will save that for us. So these are the reasons React is popular and gaining popularity. So according to Google Trends in the last 5 years, under programming and JavaScript frameworks, so React is gaining a lot of popularity over the other JavaScript frameworks. So what are the similar tools like React? There is Vue, there is Angular, and there is Ember, and there are similar tools. You can go and research about that. So now let's move on to the third tool. The next tool we are going to look into is called Django. Again, it is a web application framework. So Django is a Python-based web framework which is used to do a quick development of APIs and web applications. So it provides an amazing capability of creating back-end web applications with minimal coding because it uses Python. As we know, Python is one of the most used and one of the most popular programming languages in the world. So there are other reasons why Django is popular as well. The first reason is security. So Django takes security very seriously, that it already provides capabilities to avoid SQL injection, clickjacking, and cross-site scripting. Next comes the scalable ability. So it provides a lot of scalable ability, that is, you can scale up the site automatically using Django. So how does it happen? One of the most busiest sites in the world, YouTube, uses Django for their backend, and you very well know how much traffic that YouTube takes every single day, and Django handles it perfectly. That is why Django is one of the best web application frameworks out there. There are other web application frameworks as well. There is Spring, which is using Java. There is ASP.NET using C#, and also Ruby on Rails. You can check out those tools as well, but the preferred one is Django. Now let us look into the next tool. Hey guys, so the fourth tool is a CSS framework called Bootstrap. Bootstrap is one of the most popular and it is one of the most used CSS frameworks. So Bootstrap was created by Twitter, and Bootstrap basically comprises of HTML, CSS, jQuery and JavaScript, and you can use it to make dynamic websites out of nothing. So they already have pre-built codes. You can directly use them to create your website. Even a beginner in web development can start off with Bootstrap if they want to develop dynamic websites with various cool features. So there are other features as well. So as I told you, there are inbuilt components. For example, if you want to add a navigation bar to your website, it already has an inbuilt code which you can directly integrate with your HTML, which gives you basically a navigation bar. Or if you want a button of a certain color for a certain purpose, it again has a class for that. And then if you also want any dark mode or color mode, so it has all those cool features and you can implement it in your code. And the second option is that, for example, if you want to have an album in your website, then you can directly go ahead with the one-page template that Bootstrap provides for albums. So it has a complete template. You will just have to take that template and use it in your website. If you want any changes, you can make the changes to the code automatically, and that is pretty easy to start off with creating websites. So there are similar tools. There is Foundation and there is Material UI. You can check those tools out. So the most popular tool is Bootstrap. If you are going to start off with creating websites dynamically, you can start off with Bootstrap as well. So next we'll look into the other tool. So the fifth tool we are going to look into is package managers, and the tool is called Yarn. So Yarn was created by Facebook, and once it got created, it got really popular and got love from the community because of its superior speed and reliability compared to the other package managers. So it made NPM lose a lot of popularity, and right now Yarn is the most popular in the industry. So first of all, let me give you a few examples why Yarn is really popular. The first is workspaces. So Yarn provides workspaces, which is basically a feature where you can split a project into multiple subcomponents within a repository itself. The second one is reading from multiple registries. It is also compatible with NPM. As told, it is compatible with NPM. Also, you can upload your own package. Also, you can connect your GitHub repository to upload packages from there as well. So that's why it is really gaining a lot of popularity. The first one is workspaces. The second one is multiple registries. So you've seen that there are some similar tools to this as well. So Yarn, you already know there is NPM, there is PNPM, and also there is Rush. So you can look into those tools also if you want to learn more about package managers. If not, go ahead with Yarn. So now let's look at the next tool. Now we'll be looking into the sixth tool, which is the Git client. So obviously the popular tool is GitHub. So GitHub is a version control tool which uses the Git workflow. And GitHub is a subsidiary of Microsoft since the year 2018. Also, as I told you, GitHub is the most popular and it is used for collaborating with development teams within your company, or you can collaborate with open source project makers. So apart from source code hosting, there are other features to GitHub as well. So the first one is GitHub Actions, which can be used to create CI/CD pipelines, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment for building, testing and hosting or deploying your application on a server. Second comes small website hosting. For example, if you want to host a small blog, you can host it directly from GitHub itself. You can create a repository, you can upload your code, and you can directly do that via GitHub. Also, GitHub comes with an web-based graphical user interface. If you don't want to use that, you can download the desktop application and also start using that. So this is GitHub. There are similar tools like Bitbucket, Gitkraken, and SourceTree. You can look into that. Now let's move on to the next tool. So the final tool which we are going to look into is a web designing tool called Adobe Dreamweaver. So Adobe Dreamweaver is one of the most popular web design tools available. So first of all, it provides you two different kinds of editors, the visual editor and the HTML editor. So you can build websites without having to know much about programming itself. For example, if you do not even know HTML, you can go with the visual editor to create your website, which will have a source code automatically. If you know HTML, you can also input using HTML. So finally, you also have other abilities. So first of all, it has Git enabled in it so that you can upload your source code directly from Dreamweaver into the remote repository. So you can upload it directly to the remote repository and also push the content into Dreamweaver from other repositories as well. Also, it is not a free software, it is a paid software. If you want to make a career in web designing, it is a good bet to invest in Dreamweaver. There are other similar tools called Wix, there is WordPress, you can also specialize in them. So this is the last tool and this is a web designing tool. So we've come to the end of this session, guys. So all the tools we saw in this particular session are top tools in their particular segments. And if you want to become a web developer, you'll have to learn all of these tools. To start off with these, get your foundation right in HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and then you can move ahead with these tools and get successful in your career. So we've come to the end of this session. So I hope this session was helpful and informative for you. If you have any queries, please leave a comment below and we'll love to help you out. Thank you.